Alright, so I'm back again, car video this time. I'm over here at Walmart. Got to go in and get some stuff before I go pick up my boy in a little bit. And I was just listening to, some stuff on ESPN on YouTube where they were talking about Chris Paul in Phoenix. And, shout outs to Chris Paul. Congratulations to him for getting to his first finals. If Giannis is hurt, if Giannis is hurt and Milwaukee somehow gets to the finals, hey, congratulations, CP3, you got your first ring. You know what I'm saying? And I think at that point, he immediately has to be in everybody's top five. Just for me, my top five is like Magic, Steph, Zeke, Oscar, and then that fifth one just kind of depends on the day. I rotate out a couple of guys between Stockton and CP3 and, Kidd and Nash and a bunch of others, you know what I'm saying? But at that point, I think he would submit himself as bona fide number five at minimum. And you can maybe make an argument for him to be a little bit higher. Having said that, though, I think this just goes to show you what a competent front office and roster construction will do for your team. So this team got, with 8-0 in the bubble, people try to discredit that. They built this team properly. DeAndre Ayton was the right pick. A lot of people wanted to ridicule them for not taking Trey or Luka, but that's not what they needed. Sometimes you have to draft for what your team needs. And at that point, Luka was unknown whether it would actually translate or not. There's a lot of people that didn't believe Luka would translate. A lot more than that thought so than did. But, you got to think about what Luka is in Dallas and think like, would that work next to Devin Booker the way he plays? Like, nah. So they got the right person in DeAndre Ayton. And then they already had Devin Booker. Earl Watson wanted that one. And, y'all know I'm team Earl Watson for a coaching job, particularly the Pelicans. But, DeAndre Ayton showed what he can do. He can go get you a double-double. You know what I'm saying? He still got some stuff to work on, but he's coming along pretty nicely. And then you just go get, CP3 to round it out, a veteran who is a leader, got experience. And that's what people I think are underestimating is the experience because of CP3. CP3's mindset, his experience have rubbed off on the other guys. And so they're able to play at their highest level in spite of not having the experience. And then you got Jay Crowder out there helping too. All that kind of experience matters, man, and everything, along with Mikal Bridges and a couple others, Campaign, a couple others. But, a lot of things have to fall in place to win this championship. Or let me not say win this championship, but at least win the West. Yeah, they beat some teams that had some injuries, and that's fine. But to be honest, a lot of those series, I would have favored Phoenix anyway. Even if the Lakers was healthy, even if Phoenix would have won, that was going 7. That was going 7 because I thought Booker and CP3 alone were going to be good enough to take 2 or 3 games by themselves, and I think DeAndre Ayton was probably going to have a supreme game and get one along with those guys. So that was going to be at least 3 games, And even if they would have lost, I'd have been like, okay, the Lakers might have won, but they had to, scratch for that one. Denver didn't have Jamal Murray. I don't think Jamal Murray changes that series too much. I like him, but I don't think he's the linchpin. They had some injuries during that series that I think kind of overwhelmed them. I'm sorry, I was looking at this chick over here. She's fine as fuck. My bad. But MPJ got hurt during that series, so it would have just been Joker and Murray versus Ayton, Booker, and CP3. They literally have a 3. They literally have a big 3, and that's a little too much. Booker can outpace or score with anybody on that team. So, to me, it's not. It's like, okay, what else you got? CP3 He knows how to control the game. That limits Jamal Murray because I don't think he's that good at controlling the game. Great scorer, but I don't think he knows how to control the game. Now, Joker could control the game, and that's where you see, I would say, they cancel out there. And then it's just a matter of Ayton and MPJ. And MPJ only got the touches because Jamal Murray was there. With Jamal Murray there, he's going to get less touches. So he's not going to impact the game. But I feel like DeAndre Ayton could put body on Joker and impact the game. And some of the other guys, too. And I think he's athletic and big enough that nobody else on that team could guard him, even Aaron Gordon. So I can see how they win that series. Now, the Clippers is the one I think, if fully healthy, I don't think they could beat them. I think they have too much. Kawhi and Serge Ibaka is huge. I think they have enough playoff experience and know-it-all and wherewithal to sit there, weather the storm, and beat them in a 7-game series. It wouldn't be easy, but I think ultimately the buck stops right there. Having said that, you got to play who's in front of you. So I don't subscribe to this, this ring don't count, and blah, blah, blah. No, you got to play whoever the fuck is in front of you, healthy or not. It's a long battle. The whole point is to get through it as healthy as possible. The healthiest team is going to win. And if 2 healthy teams win, the best team is going to win. It's just what it is, or the team with the best player. That's usually how this shit go. Health, after that, then whoever the better team, and then the best player, And that's the way this shit works. So I don't have an issue. I'm not going to discredit them if they win a ring or not this year. I think Trae Young being out is significant, and they said Clint Capella probably won't play either. I expect I expect Chris Middleton, Drew to get to the hole all game and just dominate. We'll see what happens, though. I want to see what they do with Cam Reddish because he's playing, and DeAndre Hunter is out, I believe, for the rest of the postseason. So this is going to be intriguing to me how they weather this storm or adjust. At this point, Phoenix got to be the favorite, no matter who they play. Especially if Trae Young can't get back by, if they win and by the time the finals start, they got to be the favorite, period. So I'm in this, what, 7:30 right now? Okay. So what I kind of wanted to talk about was, roles. Okay. First of all, I'm the person that will say everybody's a role player, including your MVP level candidate. Even they have a role on the team. Okay. So everybody on the team is a role player in my eyes. Whether it's you say, okay, I got Kobe Bryant, and your role is to lead us in scoring and be the first option and play, great perimeter defense. That's still his role, even if he's still at 28, 30 point per game scorer and all defensive first team. Doesn't matter. He's a role player. He plays a role. What's happened is you got a competent coach in front office, but in particular, you got a competent coach, and you got leadership with experience, and you got youth and talent. All of that has to come together. The Pelicans last year didn't have the front office, the coach necessarily, and they didn't have enough experience. It is clearly missing. Steven Adams is good, but he's not enough of a leader. When you have teams like this, you need leaders. You need voices in that locker room. But that's why one of my in the other video I made a couple days ago, or about a week ago, I said one of the things they need to get is they need to get some vets with some leadership. They need to get some vets who have respect. They need to get some vets who have a voice, who that voice matters, and they're talkative. They don't need, like, a Draymond Green would be an excellent kind of vet for this team. Now, I'm not saying, you go get Draymond Green and this team automatically becomes championship level, because Draymond, he helps the team in certain places, but he also hurts the team in certain places. But, you got a Jay Crowder and a CP3 mixed in with your youth. The starting lineup, you just had Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams. And while they're experienced, there's not enough there from them as far as to do something. Steven Adams' effect was most felt with Jackson Hayes, I believe. But I don't get Bledsoe. I don't think Bledsoe had enough effect on Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Kira or Alonzo. I think they kind of, just did their own thing. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul was a different thing. He come to your team, everybody's listening, and everybody follows his leadership, and he coaches everyone up and get everybody where they're trying to go and doing what they're trying to do and what they need to do. So you need a vet with some respect who is not afraid to let these youngsters know what it is. You need to define your roles on your team, and that needs to be what it is. Now, the Pelicans had roles on their team, but I also think the roles have to be realistic. For instance, if you're going to play Lonzo Ball, I don't get why you don't put the ball in his hands more and play fast. It benefits everybody else on the team. If you take the ball out of his hands to play fast, to play slower, why even play him? It kind of limits what he really can do. You're harming his skill set. And if that's the case, that just means you need to rebuild the roster, construct the roster to benefit what he does good or what he does well, or just not have him on the roster at all, which is likely what's going to happen this offseason, is he's probably going to sign somewhere else. So, at least to me, that's a concern going into next year, whether Lonzo's on the team or not. You know what I'm saying? And I've been hearing more rumblings about the BI and the possibility of a trade. And I told y'all when he first signed that contract, that trade kicker is there for a motherfucking reason. It is there for a motherfucking reason. And so I'm going to keep watching that thing. And if he ends up getting traded somehow, I told you. I'm just saying. But these guys need better, more defined roles. BI needs a bigger role on this team. I don't feel like a guy that can score at all three levels should be settling just simply as the number two. Yes, Zion is ultimately the number one guy on the team. However, the number one option should always be BI because he's a little older, a little bit more experienced, a little bit more tested. He's played a lot more games. But not just that. He can literally get his shot off anywhere on the court. He's got to get those touches. And I kind of agree if BI is upset that he's not getting the touches like that, because guess what? He should. He earned the right to get those touches, even though, this became Zion's team last year. And I think asking BI after becoming an all-star and everything to take a back seat and just play off of him was like the wrong thing ultimately. I think BI should have a big role. Even if that doesn't mean his role is bigger than Zion's, they should be looked at as equals and not Batman, Zion, Robin, BI. It should be kind of like Batman and Superman. But I don't think that relationship is ever going to work. I have my suspicions. I have my reasons. I've said this before on the channel. I just don't think that's going to work long term. It's something about it that just feels off to me. Like, you go watch CP3 and Ayton. First year, and they play seamlessly together. Lonzo has a better... Hold on, let me hit that thing real quick. Lonzo has a better, chemistry, synergy with Zion. And it's kind of similar to the CP3 Ayton one. But I don't think the BI Zion one is like that. Yes, that's one of those things you have to work at, but it's not natural. And if the two guys, if they're not on the same page, I don't see how that works. Now, I know they were talking about working out this summer. They'll probably clean a lot of that up, and probably next season I'll look like a fool when they sit out there and they play seamlessly together. But again, that goes back to, my initial point here. If Lonzo and Zion already got that chemistry, I don't see why they just can't have that chemistry and work on it even better and get an even, more seamless effect on the game. I'm sorry, I was just looking, I seen this lady, she's on this walker, and she's an amputee, and so it kind of just took me by surprise. I'm sorry, y'all, being out here in Walmart and shit, you see all kinds of crazy stuff out here, but, fine chicks, amputees is crazy. But anywho, that's my whole take on that. Again, if it were up to me, the trade I would make, I would first of all, I would tell Alonzo, we're giving you the max. And whatever the max is for what he's wanting, not necessarily, okay, we're paying you exactly max dollars. If he wants 22, I'm giving him 22. And I'm trading BI to Indiana, and I'm taking Miles Turner, and I'm taking Karis LeVert. I got to get both. And Karis LeVert can put buckets out there. He's a guaranteed number 2. It allows Zion to be the number 1, and you still got your 3-level scoring option, and then you got the chemistry between Lonzo. You say, okay, here you go. Matter of fact, I don't know what their contracts look like, but if the contracts don't work, hey, go ahead and give me somebody else off that bench that can shoot, and play defense. Give me one of them Holiday brothers if I need to. Go ahead and bring them over here. And that's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? You got Kira. You're going to have to keep Kira, so there's no need to go get another point guard if you're going to sign Lonzo. You need more shooters. You need more spacing. Go try to get you some Trevor Ariza's out there or something. You need some guys like that. I've been seeing Kispert for the Pelicans in the draft. Here's my problem with that. Like, one, let me say I like his game. I don't think his game is bad, but the problem is when you're drafting, you need to draft to fill a void or a need. Shooting is definitely a void, but why would you take a shooter that can't guard laterally and can't keep people in front of him? That was one of the issues with the Pelicans. I even outlined that in the Memphis game with Ja Morant and a couple of other guys on that team. So you're going to go draft a guy because he's simply a shooter, but you could go get a guy who's probably in the draft 22, 21 years of age, so he's further along. And he can play defense and keep guys in front of him and knock down shots. Not everybody on the court has to be 41, 42 or above. 37, 38% shooter, 39% shooter is fine, but you need that defense. You need someone committed on the defensive end of the ball. If you trade BI, you get some guys in that's going to play defense and space the floor. You may want to trade that pick you have to get off Steven Adams or Bledsoe. Fine. Okay. If you do that, which if you're going to do it, you probably want to move the Bledsoe contract. If you do that, you maybe move back, you go get a cheaper guy who can do the role, and there you go. Okay? Pelicans have a ton of issues. You're not going to fix them all in the offseason. But I would feel a lot more comfortable if I was fielding a starting lineup of Lonzo, LeVert, Zion, and Miles Turner. I feel like that floor is higher, and I feel like their ceiling is higher. And if you're telling me, Lonzo, you're the point guard, this is what we're running, this is the style of offense and defense we're running. Zion, you're the first option. Karis LeVert, you're the second option because you're the Robin. And, we're going to run pick and roll, pick and pop situations. You can even play point Zion and get pick and pop situations with Miles Turner. You get one-on-one Zion going to the basket. Bam, effective. And then you got shooters, Turner, Lonzo, and LeVert. To me, that just makes so much more sense. And I feel like that team has a higher level to get to than the other ones. Now, Karis LeVert and Miles Turner don't have the necessary experience I would want in the locker room. So you would, Trevor Ariza off the bench. And if you wanted to stick him in the starting lineup over that's great. I've been noticing that the Pels media guys are oozing over playing, preliminary Olympic Games in Canada, and they're like, oh my God, he's looking like he's ready for a new role. Oh, David Griffin, busting exquisite, extravagant nuts over the brother. Look, I like but I think I want a little bit more of a voice in that locker room, in that starting lineup. And if I got Trevor Ariza, I might put him in the starting lineup. It'd be no disrespect to you the sixth man. You coming off the bench first, and you're going to do things and everything. Matter of fact, I might say Trevor Ariza, you might not get 30 plus a night, but you might get 25, and I might give 29 off the bench and everything. He would be playing starters minutes. You see what I'm saying? But I think I would still want that, okay, let me put Trevor Ariza in the starting lineup because he's the vet. He's been to the finals. I think Trevor Ariza has he won the finals? I think he has. But he's been in playoff situations. He's battle tested. He's going to hold these guys accountable. I think this is a better fit for the team long term. And then you could have Steven Adams off the bench, or you could trade him and you still have Jackson Hayes off the bench. You still got Kira. Now can come in and you can still develop those two for your, future for your team. And then after that, it's like, okay, you go get it. You got Najee Marshall. I guess it could be your other wing. I would like to go get more size. And then you got to go get your power forward or something, that can space the floor. Robert Covington, if he's available, or some guy like that. Now your team looks so much better on paper, and they're going to execute better. That's the way you built this team. That is the kind of roster construction that the front office is going to have to go through this offseason. And you might have to give up BI, but I promise you, if you do it, BI long term will benefit more playing in Indiana under Rick Carlisle and Malcolm Brogdon and TJ Warren, who was out, and a couple of those other guys, versus playing in New Orleans, where he's got to be dealing with all this other stuff and this inconsistency and everything. Now you could say you can move Lonzo, you can move Kira to the starting lineup, or now to the starting lineup, fine. But I say this: are you more comfortable with Bledsoe, Nall, B.I. Zion, Steven Adams, or are you more comfortable with the other team? Sometimes it's not about accolades like that. Sometimes it's about fit. And if you're going to fit this team properly and you want to get the most out of the team, sometimes you got to make some tough decisions. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to keep BI, then, hey, we got to get rid of a lot of other guys. Do we have the assets? Or are we going to have to oversell assets? We took 3 firsts from Milwaukee. Are we going to have to attach 2 of them to get rid of Bledsoe or Steven Adams? You know what I'm saying? And then in that case, it's like, why did we trade Drew if that's what we were going to do? But anyway, that's all I got. I need to go ahead and get some stuff. I've been on this thing for 21 minutes. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.